Meral Sahin campaigns for better multicultural understanding. A 46-year-old German Turk, she says the conflict over Turkish President Recep Erdogan is threatening the peace in Germany. She was born in and lives in Cologne, a city with more than 1 million inhabitants and a reputation for being cosmopolitan and tolerant. Many Turkish citizens live here and are eligible to vote on Erdogan's constitutional referendum. So conflict has been raging for weeks. Meral Sahin wants to keep the issue from further dividing Germans and Turks.
Ja, backtem. Ich habe das total vergessen.
Oh, backtem. Yeah, I completely forgot about that.
Hatte keine Zeit.
That was that week when I was under so much stress.
Ich habe es überhaupt nicht registriert. Das war das Witzige.
Meral Sahin is a businesswoman who turned her hobby into a profession. She runs a decoration shop for weddings and other celebrations. For several years, Sahin has also been the chairwoman of the Keupstrasse Interest Group, an association of local business people. Its purposes, exchanging interests and being good neighbors, are now endangered, says Sahin.
Overall, the current situation between Germany and Turkey is very bad for Turks who live in Germany. Politics is harming the people who live here in Germany, who get involved and try to change things, who use their own initiative. And then politics comes along and ruins everything.
For years, Sahin has worked to make Germans less shy and worried about immigrants. But now she's constantly asked, are you for or against Erdogan? What's going on in your country?
Und durch diese ganze Fragerei, durch diese
all these questions, all this blame. Just think how divisive that is. All the gaps that are opening up in society. Gaps that we've been trying to close. All our work is for nothing, and it doesn't seem like it bothers anyone.
Sahin's decoration shop is at the southern end of the Keupstrasse, a street known for its Turkish shops and restaurants. And the street has suffered. In 2004, neo-Nazis planted a nail bomb intending to kill as many immigrants as possible. 22 people were injured. But to add insult to injury, the police and the media placed Turkish immigrant families under suspicion, shaking relations between the residents of Keupstrasse and their neighbors to this day. Maria Fichte deals with the consequences every day. She manages the district. It's up to her to solve the day-to-day problems of the people on Keupstrasse.
Menschen Diskriminierungserfahrungen machen in ihrem Leben.
When people experience discrimination, they often develop a victim mentality.
Wenn man einmal diese Opferhaltung eingenommen hat, ist es schwer, da wieder rauszukommen.
And once that happens, it's hard for them to break out of it again.
Es ist auch schwer, zum Beispiel als herkunftstürkischer Mitbürger.
It's also hard to convince a German citizen of Turkish descent to think, okay, I'm here now and I belong here.
Okay, ich bin jetzt hier.
To make it clear to someone, you should see me as someone who belongs here.
Nimm mich auch so wahr. Nimm mich so wahr, als ob ich dazugehöre.
Someone who feels excluded is all the more susceptible to the appeals of Turkish politicians. Today, Turkey's sports minister Akif Kilic is visiting Keupstrasse. He's a member of Erdogan's AKP party. Mr. Kilic, have you come here today to campaign for the referendum?
I'm here today in Cologne, and right now I'm eating.
And what about this evening?
This evening there is an event I'll be taking part in, yes.
Akif Kilic grew up in Germany, but his visit is politically charged. For weeks, Germany and Turkey have been fighting about whether Turkish government ministers should be allowed to campaign in Germany. After a very emotional debate, the decision is no. Ministers like Kilic aren't that important to Meral Sahin. But some German Turks take them very seriously, asking why German politicians don't show themselves here more often.
It's a fact that Turkish politicians come to this street more often than German politicians do. And that gives people here the feeling that Turkish politicians care more about them than German politicians do.
Many Germans with foreign roots have felt ostracized because of the Islamist terrorist attacks in Europe, but even more than ever now because of the conflict between Germany and Turkey, says Sahid, a German Moroccan.
I'm not a Turk myself, but I notice how people look at me when I get on a train or when I go in certain shops. Whether that's to do with terrorist attacks or with Erdogan, it's all contributed to the current tension. At the moment, it's not much fun to leave the house. Apart from the poor weather, it's not really nice to encounter people here. And I think all the things that are happening here make people look at you even more critically.
Right. Even when I say I'm a German citizen, people often ask, yes, but where do you really come from? And if I say I'm German, no one accepts that. Maybe because I have dark hair. They ask, but where are you really from? Why do you people all behave a certain way? And then they start talking about your ethnicity or religion.
Meryl Sahin wants to build bridges between the different communities, but also within the communities. She's in contact with all the shop owners here and knows their worries and problems. She wants to keep the mood light.
And instead of talking on the phone so long, you ought to clean your shop windows. Get on with it. You just got out of the hospital? Well, get well soon then. By the way, cleaning up helps you recover.
Not only do Turks feel excluded, there's also a polarization between supporters and opponents of Erdogan. The referendum is a very delicate topic on Keupstrasse. In this hairdresser's, people would rather not broach the subject.
People have become more cautious. It's not like it was 2 years ago. The mood gets worse every year.
Many people on Keupstrasse have relatives in Turkey. None of them want to talk openly about Turkish politics. Erdogan's supporters and opponents live side by side. And no one wants trouble with the neighbors, including Hasan Emektar. His music store specializes in Turkish and Kurdish artists. He doesn't want to comment on the current climate.
Of course you feel the effects of political movements in Turkey here among the people of Keupstrasse. They're reflected in the lives of the Turkish community all over Europe. There are hardened front lines among Turks in Europe, but not here on Keupstrasse.
Keupstrasse is about 500 meters long. Residents include Germans, Turks, Kurds, Sunni Muslims, Turkish Bulgarians, conservatives, and liberals. It's a microcosm of the various cultures. Overall, they get along, but Erdogan's opponents are afraid they're being lumped together with his fans. Meral Sahin says it's only natural for people to have different opinions about Turkish politics. After all, disagreement is a sign of a vibrant democracy. A visit from a minister can be viewed in very different ways. But many people here didn't even know about the minister's visit. For example, Meral Sahin's neighbor, Ilknur Altinova, who runs a bridal shop on Keupstrasse.
So you weren't really sure what was going on?
Okay.
You didn't realize till afterward he was a minister? Does that interest you at all, that they're coming and going?
Okay. Interessiert dich das überhaupt, dass sie kommen und gehen?
I don't know. Of course it's interesting, but you don't know what's going on.
Ich will dich nicht belästigen.
I don't want to bother you. You got a full house and enough to do.
Frauenpower.
Girl power.
Alles klar. Je nach Betrachtung.
It's all in the eye of the beholder whether we're Turkish or German, or something entirely different.
Oder was ganz anderes. Ich aus meiner
From my point of view, we're probably more German than the ethnic Germans, because our interest is in business and perseverance and getting along, among ourselves and with others.
Nach innen sowie nach außen.
And Meral Sahin wants to continue building bridges between Germans and immigrants, so that the gap between them may one day even close.